Welcome to First and Gold, presented by Pickett Sports Boom Fantasy, breaking down the Saturday portion of the divisional round. NicLarson, Nick, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing? Doing the debut here for the playoffs. Hit some basketball plays and now I'm on the NFL show, so
Yeah,
see if we can carry it over.
I can catch you up. Football, it's an oblong object. There's an end zone, about 100 yards of a field. So there's 11 players on each team. So if you have any questions, let me know. But
We'll do. I think we
we
can
got
figure it out.
we got Jags Chiefs, we got Eagles Giants. I guess we'll just start with the Chiefs and the Jags. Let me ask you this first: do you give the Jags any chance to win the game?
Not really. I know we were talking a little before the show started, just how much effort they had to put in that second half of that comeback game, and they probably really didn't have any business winning that game if the Chargers managed the clock correctly. If they just, even pick up some first downs. I think they only ran the ball like 7 times in the second half, which is
Amazing.
crazy to think of. But I think the Jags can probably put up some points, but I don't see them winning this game. It's 9.5 now. The Chiefs tend to play with their food at the end of games. They never really finish teams off. It's just, I don't know. They're a tough team when you're betting the spread. So I'm probably going to stay away as far as that. I know they're also a popular team to be teased. So a lot of people are doing that. What do you think in this game?
I worry about, you mentioned the Chiefs, they play with their food, but they have a habit of like when they need their fastball. I'm worried about their fastball. I'm worried about their A game, extra time to prepare. They're 2 wins away from a Super Bowl. I worry that they just jump on Jacksonville. Anytime you're laying 9.5, look, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. A backdoor. I think we get a big time Kansas City effort. Does that mean they win it 34-24? Does that mean they win it 34-27? Obviously, when it comes to the spread, that's all the difference in the world. But I do think they win. I would look for Chiefs. Look, they're taking it. It's at 9.5 now. They're taking it out of range where you can tease it, at least with a 6-pointer. You can, I guess, use it on a 7-pointer with KC and Philly, where they both basically just need to win the game by a field goal or more. But I'd be shocked here if the Jags go this time tomorrow, if the Jags are going to the AFC Championship game, that would just be unbelievable. This is a team that was dead and buried in their own
Yeah.
division. They needed everything to go right just to have a chance in the last week. So I would think here that the Chiefs figure out a way to get this done. Um, there's different ways to play it. The team total for the first half for the Jags was 14.5. I was going to give that out. Now it's up to 16. It's about the same just because it's probably not going to land on 15, you wouldn't think. And the Jags were 9.5. That's been bet up to 10. I would probably look at a Chiefs team total over, though. I just think that the Jags are so bad against the pass. They're not good against tight ends.
Right.
Andy Reid with extra time to prepare. I think we do get a pretty
Travis
good Chiefs
Kelsey's
performance
Travis
here.
Kelsey's pretty good from what I've heard.
Pretty
So
good.
yeah.
Pretty good. Do you have
Um,
any bets for this game?
I have not put anything in. I was actually just looking at Trevor Lawrence interceptions to throw one is minus 145. I was just curious what that is because I think he's, like you said, the Chiefs are going to put up their points. I don't think Jacksonville's going to win this game by running the ball in defense. They're going to have to score, and he's going to be throwing the ball. So I was just hoping that was a little bit lower, but no, I have not put anything in yet. I might run the classic tease on this, like you were saying, but I have not put anything. Another thing I was looking at was Trevor Lawrence rushing yards.
Just gonna say it.
That's
Read my mind.
kind of been a go-to for me. He hasn't done it lately the last couple games, but he did hit the over against the Chiefs the first time they played. And I think he'll be using his legs a little bit today. So I kind of like that look as well. Maybe we run back the Trevor Lawrence to score a touchdown as well. Or maybe both quarterbacks to score a touchdown. So I'm gonna definitely look at the Lawrence rushing angle as well. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna play it. Probably play the over. I don't know about touchdown wise though.
I like both quarterbacks rushing props over. I always like in the playoffs. I either bet over for the rushing prop or don't do anything, just because I think, look, you're a couple games away from the Super Bowl. Your season's on the line. It's not week 6 anymore where you might throw it on 3rd and 3 when you can run for it. So I think it's no holds barred.
Right.
Season on the line. So I think that lends itself. It doesn't mean it's going to go over every time, but I think that lends itself to quarterbacks running more. Mahomes is 25.5 now. It's been bet up a little bit. Like you said, Lawrence is 16.5. I would look to go over on both those guys.
Yeah, I agree.
You always have to worry about the knees at the end of the game and figure the Chiefs are winning this game. You're going to need Mahomes to be like in the 30s because
Yeah.
he could lose 6 or 7 yards just on kneel downs at the end of the game.
Yeah, those can sometimes come back and bite you with those. You kind of almost have to factor who you think's going to win in with the rushing yards if you're looking at those kneel
Right.
downs like you said. Yeah.
Right. Or just have enough cushion there where they don't come
Right.
back
Right.
to bang you. We can get to first touchdown markets. There's a couple receiving props I do like, though, and I believe I gave this out. ATN over 18 and a half receiving yards.
Oh yeah.
I like that one. I just figure, hey, you know what? Lawrence could be under pressure. If you're playing catch up, the easiest thing to do is just check the ball down to
Absolutely.
the back and get, 10, 12 yards. Hell, he can get the 19 on one play. He's got the speed. So ATN over, I like. And look, not to overthink it here. Kelsey, and again, shop around the number I'm seeing on Kelsey, 82 and a half. Look, if Kelsey goes under, you live with it. But to me, Kelsey, that's over or nothing. So I'd probably look at Kelsey too.
Yeah, I agree. Kelsey's a very, very popular play, I think, in this game, as far as even like you said, the receiving yards, first touchdown to score as a parlay piece with people. I think he's in line for a big game here.
Yeah. First touchdown here. Let's see what we got here. Touchdown scorer props. Anytime, and this is looking at FanDuel. Why is not? Oh, first touchdown score. Okay, Kelsey is the short shot 6-1, as you'd expect. McKinnon plus 650. He's gotten in the end zone a lot recently. Pacheco 8-1. ATN plus 850. Smith Schuster 11-1. Tony 14-1. Kirk 15-1. Jones 15-1. Valdez a lot of 15-1s. Valdez Scantling's 15-1. Ingram's 18-1. Then you get to the quarterbacks. Mahomes now 19-1 for Mahomes. Lawrence 20-1. Anything after that, it's a pretty big sleeper. Anything jump out to you? You mentioned the quarterbacks. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm taking a long shot also, I kind of like Evan Ingram. Lawrence really likes him, especially in the red zone. I know he's hit him here a couple times recently. You're just banking on can Jacksonville be the first one to score. But if I'm taking a long shot, I kind of like Ingram as well for Jacksonville. And then, I mean, I think everyone's on Travis Kelsey some way or another scoring first touchdown plus 600. But long shot, I do like Ingram. Still undecided on quarterbacks. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more, but long shot Evan Ingram for sure.
Can you give me a final score prediction?
Final score prediction. I'm going to go 38-24.
I was thinking 34-24. So we're in the same ballpark. These are sucker bets. These are needle in a haystack. So we don't recommend betting them or betting too much on them. But hey, if you want to throw a couple bucks on them, it's fun to sit there. You sit there with a sweat pretty much the whole game. And that's something you can get like at 70-1, 80-1. So
You're doing math in your head, like, what do I need? A touchdown,
right.
a safety, a field
Three
goal.
safety,
Yeah,
two and a half safeties, a field goal, a missed extra point.
exactly.
Yeah, but I think the Jags will get their points. I don't think they're going to get like shut out here. Peterson's an aggressive coach. He's built a hell of a resume here now with what he did with Philly, getting them to the Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl with Nick Foles against Tom Brady and Belichick. And now, this run where he wins the division his first year with the Jags and he's won a playoff game. This is all gravy here. So you come in fast and loose, and I think they'll get their points, but I just think the Chiefs outscore them. Should mention they played it was November 12th, so middle of the season.
Right.
The Chiefs were -3 in turnovers, and the Jags onside kick to open the game and recovered it. So the Jags were +4 in possessions still lost the game by 10 points. So
Right.
look, the Jags have played better since, but I think that would have to concern you a little bit too.
Yeah. It's tough when you see those numbers with the turnovers and extra possessions and you're still losing by double digits. Like what else can you do more than that? Because I don't think you're
Right.
gonna have that every game against the Chiefs. And then you still lost by double digits. So yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure for Jacksonville today.
And Spagnuolo is a good defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Won a Super Bowl with the Giants, won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. He can throw some curveballs at you, and we saw Lawrence sort of struggle early in the game last week with some disguise. So that's an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's funny to say this about Kansas City. It's not that explosive offense we're used to. They're still very efficient, but it's not like that one play drive, two play drive like they were with Tyreek Hill. It's more methodical. It's more plotting. Like they still get their points. They still get in the end zone, but it's not that Mike Tyson punch out, knockout, first rounder that we've seen in past years where they just sort of move the ball down the field more.
Yeah, I think in order for Jacksonville to win, I think they're going to need either like a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown thrown in here.
Right.
Or something crazy to happen like that.
Or just play extremely well in the red zone and hold Kansas City to field goals, which is just not, it's not easy.
Right.
All right. Anything else on this one?
No, that's all I got for this one.
Yeah. So just to recap, I like probably gonna end up with a lot of bets on this. I like both quarterbacks rushing over. I like Kelsey receiving over, and I like ATN over. And I'll probably end up Chiefs first half over too. It's 16 now. That's look, they should probably get their 17 points by halftime, you'd think.
I would think so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Lawrence rushing, and I'm probably gonna hop on with you at the ETN. I'm a sucker for wide or running back receiving yards in the playoffs, especially. So I'll probably hop on ETN with you.
Which is a good segue to the second game. Giants, Eagles. Eagles swept the season series. These teams played a couple weeks ago. Eagles were like 17.5-point favorites, had to hang on for dear life to win the game by 6 points against Davis Webb. I don't know what you take from that game. Eagles probably didn't show a lot. They did enough just to get out with a win. Giants were obviously playing second, third string quarterbacks with Webb at quarterback. So, the Eagles buried them middle of the season about a couple months ago. So Eagles are laying 7.5. It's in that teaser zone. Giants are the hot team, man. You hear a lot of people picking the Giants. Everyone falling in love with Daniel Jones and Dable. I would caution people. I think we see this every year where people just, you know what, it's recency bias. We didn't see the Eagles play last week, and they really haven't played well recently, so I understand that. But people see the Giants win and cover, and they just forget that the team that they're about to play is rested and better and home. So I'd be careful here taking the Giants. I know they're the hot team right now. I do think the Eagles are better. I would lean towards the Eagles covering this number. What are your thoughts here, Giants, Eagles? Any bets you have?
Yeah, I couldn't have said any better. Like you said, it's the recency bias. They saw the Giants play, and they beat a explosive, good Minnesota team
Right.
that everyone had questions about headed in. So now that, like you said, they're the hot team right now. Eagles rested. They definitely needed the rest. They had a lot of guys banged up. The Eagles are the 1 seed for a reason, though. I mean, they earned it. They earned the bye. The play I like the most in this game is actually receiving prop. AJ Brown, 70 yards. I took the ladder. I think it goes up to, let me check here, 125-ish, I think. Yeah, 125 is plus 640. He's hit that a couple times in the last few weeks. He's hit the 70 in 6 straight. He's hit it both times against the Giants this year. I just think I was going to ask you your opinion on this, but how healthy running wise do we think Jalen Hurts is? I mean, do you think he's out there to get smashed running, or is he going to have to throw the ball a little bit more? Are they going to give it to Sanders? What are your thoughts on
That's the
that?
question. I think that's if you tell me, this time tomorrow the Giants have somehow won this game and moved on, it probably was either one or two things. The Eagles weren't healthy, Hurts wasn't healthy, or they turned the ball over, which is always a possibility. My guess is he's healthy. He had the 2 weeks off. That's a long time now. That injury was before Christmas because that was Christmas Eve. Minshew played
This
instead of Hurts.
non-throwing shoulder, right?
Non-throwing shoulder, so he's had some time here. You never know. I mean, we're all just sort of guessing, and you could feel fine, and then he takes a hit, and then he's not fine. So that's really the key to the game. I think if he's healthy, I think the Eagles roll here. The Giants got gashed that first game. They gave up 254 rushing yards. Sanders went for 150 something. Hurts ran for 78. My guess he's probably healthy. That would be my guess.
Yeah, because I would say they have his rushing set at 51.5. I don't know what he hit last time against them. And then, I mean, Daniel Jones.
He did nothing in the final game. It was like 6 carries for 13 yards, but he barely ran it. They ran a very vanilla offense, but he gashed in the first matchup.
Right. And then Daniel Jones set at 42.5 rushing as well. But yeah, I mean, I would just say caution on the Giants here. Just don't, it's hard to say, but don't take so much out of last week's game. I mean, they did was a big win for them. I think another thing I'm going to look at is Barkley's receiving yards. Daniel Jones he's been dumping off to him a ton. So I'm glad we're on the same page there, but
100% agree. I'll check out the number.
I ran him last week, Barkley's receiving ladder, and he did real well there.
What did he end up with last week?
Shoot, I want to say close to 60.
Wow.
Mid 50s, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, that was ridiculous last week. The Vikings, and I'm a Vikings fan, man, that was just, oh my God. I know the defense is bad. I've never seen guys that were just 10, 12 yards of cushion. And the first drive, like the Vikings scored, they're up 7-0. the Giants not only tied it in the blink of an eye, but they got a holding penalty the first play. Like 1st and 20. Teams don't usually score when it's 1st and 20. That's usually a drive killer. I think at 1st and 20, it was like no problem. 5 plays in the end zone, and Barkley was just wide open. And I agree. Barkley's their best player. So getting him, getting him the ball in some way, the receiving yards, I think is a great play. 28.5, that seems light. And hey, if you think the Giants have any chance, Barkley's going to have a big night. So I think 28.5 is a really good play.
What do you think about how much you think Jones runs? Because he ran crazy last week.
I can only look towards over with the rushing props with the playoffs. Right. I just think season on the line, life on the line here.
He was pulling it down pretty quick and just taking those open holes last week.
Yep, absolutely. And I think he'll be under some pressure. You got to remember now, college, the NFL, it's different. College, when you get sacked, it goes against your rushing yards. NFL, when you get sacked, it goes against your passing yards. So he'll probably get sacked a few times here. I don't know how much that offensive line for the Giants holds up on the road against Philly, that front four. So he'll take some sacks. But look, if the Giants have any chance at all, Jones is going to have to run. They just don't have a lot of weapons. I know Hodges has come on, James has come on, but they need Barkley, to make plays with the ball in his hands, whether it's rushing, receiving, and they need Jones to run. So that's going to be their bread and butter. I would expect Jones to run too. I would look towards the over.
Yeah, I like that as well. Is there any other props you like in this or not?
We could look at first touchdown here. I think it's hard without knowing, like you mentioned Hurts injury. That's so much of the game here is Hurts injury. You can't really make a bet on the game until you just sort of reconcile in your head what you think Hurts is going to be, and then you go from there, and there's a little guesswork, which is dangerous. But Hurts is the short shot, plus 600 to score the first touchdown. Sanders is 7-1. Brown is 7-1. Barkley plus 750. Man, a lot of guys under 10-1, which
that's crazy.
Makes it hard. It really does. Devontae Smith plus 950. Goddard plus 1200. Hodgins 14-1. Jones 14-1. Boston Scott, who's been infamous for scoring against the Giants just regularly, 17-1. Richie James 17-1. I mean, think about this. I mean, it's Richie James in a playoff game is 17-1 to score the first touchdown. That's crazy. Slayton 20-1 had a big drop last week, but came back. Or the Giants came back and held on. Watkins 23-1. Daniel Bellinger 26-1. That's not terrible. Any of those jump out to you?
Oh, not really. I mean, like you said, when you have that many bunched up at the top there, it's kind of hard to pick one out. Miles Sanders, I've gotten burned by so many times with them getting down to the 1 or 2 and Jalen Hurts just running it in. So, and like you said, with his question, I mean, do you want him diving over the top
right
down at the goal line, or are you going to give it to Sanders down there? So I don't know. I kind of almost like Daniel Jones at the plus 1400 there. I might throw together some crazy first touchdown thing with some of the quarterbacks and see what happens, but that's probably my favorite one here.
Yeah, Bellinger 26-1. That's an interesting one too.
Yeah, it is. That's good value.
Let me see defenses if there's anything.
Philly defense is 30-1.
It is. Giants defense 46-1. Maybe Hurts isn't healthy, fumbles, a pick, something. 46-1. They cashed it. What was it, a primetime game? I think it was at Washington like a month or so ago, where Thibodeau got a strip sack and then he recovered it and scored. So 46-1, man. That's usually don't see him that high.
Right.
Anything you have bets in other than the AJ Brown?
Nothing yet. I'm probably going to do something like I said with the Barkley receiving yards. I might even pair it with ETN and kind of lower both of them and maybe ladder that up a little bit, because I think both of those guys are going to be very, very involved in the passing game.
Yeah. What if one of these teams loses today, which upset would it be? What if I told you right now we get an upset, which one would it be?
I'd have to go with the Giants winning, just because of, I mean, like you said, something happens to Hurts. He's not healthy. He can't run. There's a couple turnovers, and Barkley has a big game, I think, is the way the Giants steal this one.
Totally agree.
It's just hard for me seeing Jacksonville beating the Chiefs.
Totally agree. Imagine if they both won. Imagine if we got a Giants and Jags victory today.
I mean, is this going to be like the NBA show where we've got the big favorites?
Right, and they both just come crashing down. How about a final score for this one?
Final score on this one, I'm going to go Eagles 27, Giants 24.
Eagles 27, Giants 24. That pays. So you got the Giants covering
Mm-hmm.
55 to 1. Do you ever bet these or no?
I've done it. I'd usually do it in the playoffs. I did it last year a little bit.
Yeah,
Got close a few. It's fun to watch. Like
it's fun. You can't go too crazy. It's so hard to hit,
just a
and
few
you're probably
bucks.
not getting good value. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What about you? What do you think?
I'll go. I'll go 30. I'll go 31-14.
So you like a blowout here?
Yeah, ish. I just don't. I just don't know. I just don't know. I could definitely see like if Philly just. I think. Well, here's the thing. I think it's a good live betting opportunity. I think we'll know pretty
Yeah, you'll
quickly.
know.
I don't think the Giants can fall behind 7-0. The crowd's going crazy. It's not Minnesota where you can just bounce back and move the ball up and down the field. Whereas if Giants take a lead, then
That
the
crowd could turn quick.
crowd gets a little
Yep.
tight, crowd gets restless, they start to boo a little, then it's like the Giants are just playing with house money. So
Yeah.
I think we'll know early if Hurts is healthy. I think we'll know early if the Giants can block them. So it's a good live betting opportunity. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles blow them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do
If
you think's more
Giants
likely, an Eagles blowout or a Giants upset?
Eagles blowout.
Do you think that's more likely? I agree.
Yeah, it could get interesting though. Like you said, Giants go up 10-0. Hurts is not running. The crowd kind of flips on him a little bit.
Right.
Not connecting with AJ Brown. Like, yeah, it could that could get interesting then.
Brian Dayball's in his bag, running some weird whatever stuff.
Right.
They have to move the ball. How about the games tomorrow? We'll be on tomorrow, but just I don't think you're on with us Sundays. Anything for tomorrow? Bengals Bills. This is a kind of a weird game
Yeah,
where
I gotta pull it up here. I've got some compliments of Allen from Discord. I've got a crazy look here. Let me find it. Bills to record 6 sacks plus 1,400.
wow,
Bills to record 7 sacks plus 3,500.
wow,
So Burrow has been sacked 7 times in a game this year, and his line is worse than when that happened.
wow.
So
What game was that?
I think it was the first or second game he got sacked
Pittsburgh
seven.
might have gotten him. Yeah,
But I know their line is super depleted. I still like the Bengals in this game. I like the Bengals. I don't know. I just don't think Josh Allen's right now. He's just forcing a lot of passes and super careless with the ball. So
it's funny.
I
Neither team is in great shape right now because the Bengals, like, they're missing 60% of their offensive line. They're on the road. I think they miss a Woozy at corner. The kicker, who was so good for them last postseason, he's missed
right.
kicks
Yeah,
and
he's
extra points. They were super lucky to beat Baltimore, but then look at Buffalo. They're up 17-0 to Skylar Thompson, and they're life and death to win that game at the end. So
right.
it looks like a lot of points. My guess is Buffalo finds a way to win it. If I had to, I wouldn't be opposed to throwing the Bills in a money line parlay. If I had to just take it or lay it, I'd probably take the points here.
Right. This is another one I would probably consider teasing the Bengals up because I think they're in a good spot to cover to begin
Yeah.
with. So I like adding some points to that as well.
Yeah. That offensive line's an issue. You worry about like pre-snap penalties, holdings, and false starts, and delayed games, things like that. With a chopped up offensive line, you don't know how good or bad the backups are, so you don't want to go too crazy about it. Because I guess this guy, Jonah Williams, I think is their left tackle, and he's by all accounts he's just like average, but um, you know. It's dangerous when you're missing when you got cluster injuries. That's what's dangerous. Not that the Bills have a great pass rush, but that always scares you to have a bad offensive line like that.
What are your thoughts? Go back to the running back receiving here. What are your thoughts on Mixon? He's a guy I like to target a lot for receiving. Do you think he's going to be in there chipping guys, or do you think Burrow will be dumping off to him because of the pressure?
It's a great question. And they use P Ryan too. What's his number
Right.
at?
I want to say it was like 26, maybe around there, 25 and a half, 26 and a half.
I'd only look towards over just because without time to throw, that's the quickest thing. Just dump it off to the
Right. Just
back,
dump it off.
and he can get it on one swoop. I wouldn't feel great about it, but I would lean towards an over there.
Okay.
But you're right; they could leave him in to block things like that.
Yeah, it's tough.
You think they win, or you think Buffalo wins?
I'm gonna ride my Bengals money line.
So you think we get a rematch? You think we get a Bengals Chiefs rematch?
Yep.
That'd be crazy. That really would. And the Bengals have done well against them. They beat them. They beat them in the regular season last year. They beat them twice last year, and like within a month span. So I mean, boy,
Like you're saying, like the Bills kind of got torched by
Yep.
Thompson there. Like receivers were running wide open, and
Had some drops too.
yeah, and if I mean it's not like the Bengals are lacking in the receiver department at all. So
Right.
If Burrow's on and has the time, I guess he could light him up, I think.
I think it's 25, something crazy, 25 straight games with Chase and Burrow where they haven't lost by more than 3, something crazy like that.
Wow,
Like,
that's nuts.
yeah, they've been really good against the spread too. But like I said last week, like if Huntley doesn't fumble, I don't know if since he was going to go down and score and tie that game, if Huntley gets in, I think Baltimore is probably playing this weekend, which make the games less interesting. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And that was a game where since he had a 10-0 lead too, and just couldn't put him away, didn't do a lot, couldn't really operate the offense.
Yeah, it was both teams lucky to escape last week,
Yes.
like you said. So
Yes.
maybe it woke them up a little bit. We'll see what happens
Yep. No
tomorrow.
doubt. How about the final one? This is a little throwback to the 90s here. 49ers, Cowboys. We feel like when we were kids, this is
Yeah,
like
we got free Jerry Rice versus Michael Irvin here. It looks like
Deion Sanders and Jay Novacek. And yeah, absolutely. This is definitely
Charles
a
Haley.
throwback, 100%. We're up to 4.5 in some spots. The 49ers laying it. Cowboys, fourth straight road game. 2 fewer days of rest here. Remember, they got up finished late Monday night. The 49ers played Saturday afternoon last week. So you get a rest advantage, you get a prep advantage, you get a travel advantage for San Fran. I think San Fran probably wins, but this looks like a little too many points. I'm cautious to lay it here. What are your thoughts, 49ers and Cowboys?
I think this falls in the Eagles Giants game. Everyone saw Dallas primetime Monday night game beating the GOAT Tom Brady,
Yep.
who has been playing terrible. Bucks team that was an absolute mess. And when
They
you look at
stunk all year too. I
yeah,
couldn't understand people like
they're
just
just overrated, and they
yeah.
had a home game out of it. So, um, when you look at the 49ers, I forgot where I heard this, but if you're looking at the pieces they have, which threesome would you take over McCaffrey, Kittle, and Debo? Like, who has a better combination in that?
I'd have to think, but top of my head, that's probably the best one.
I mean,
What else would he be?
somebody said maybe a healthy Raiders. If Waller's healthy, you have Adams, Jacobs, and Waller is the only
Yeah,
thing.
it's close. It's not crazy.
But I mean, and just the system they run there.
They're just so versatile though. Like
Yeah,
McCaffrey and
exactly.
Debo, they can both catch, they can both run. I think somebody was making the point. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Ryan Clark on ESPN. He's like McCaffrey and Debo were both kick returners in college, so they both have that vision where like
Yep.
just makes them so explosive in the open field.
Yeah, I think those three are going to touch the ball an awful lot this game. I like the 49ers here. Their defense is so good. Once they settle down against my Seahawks there, they basically shut them down real quick.
That fumble, man. You guys hung in the
Right.
game up a point at halftime, and it was sort of a tennis match where it's back and forth. That fumble just the floodgates opened.
Exactly. And I mean, Dak played basically a perfect game Monday.
He was good. He's a little underrated. He's not a great player, but he's a good player. You'd
Right.
like him to be a little more consistent, but he was awesome on Monday
I
night. I mean, that
think
was
I think
impressive.
they get a turnover or two out of him this week. Um, I like the 49ers in this game.
So that would give us what 49ers, Eagles, and Chiefs, Bengals. What do you think the lines on those games would be? So San Fran and Philly. Is that a pick 'em?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Right? Because I think the power ratings, Vegas has the power ratings as San Fran a little better. Home field is
Right.
obviously worth a couple
Right.
points. Probably cancels out when it's a pick 'em. I don't know. What would be your guess?
I like the 49ers. I think they're just rolling right now. They're so good on both sides of the football, and they don't make mistakes. They don't shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, good
They
kicker
can
too, which is underrated.
Yeah, they don't really turn the ball over. And when you have those pieces, and you're not putting the pressure on your quarterback like that to make all the plays, like you can get the ball to Samuel or not Samuel. Oh yes, Debo, and CMC. You can get them the ball so many different ways. They kind of just takes the pressure off of him. He's not having to hit Debo on these deep passes. You can just run some end around, some little screen stuff, and then just kind of put it in your defense's hands. So if it's 49ers Eagles, I like the 49ers in that matchup.
And you think it'll be a pick 'em, something like that?
I think it'll be a pick 'em or maybe 1.5 pick 'em,
Right.
something like that.
And if it's Chiefs,
Let's
Chiefs Bengals, what do you think the line is?
If it's Chiefs Bengals, that would be at Kansas City. I keep forget if it's Chiefs Bills, it's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, so weird.
So yeah, I would probably shoot. I like the Bengals so much, but I just can't bet against Mahomes right now.
What would you make the line? What do you think the line would be?
Gosh, it's probably got. I mean, it's got to be
My first number that pops in my head is 6. Yeah, but 6 seems a
because
little
it's
high. Maybe
five and a
five and
half
a half.
with the Bills, so you got to give the Chiefs probably a little bit more.
Right. But then you give the Bengals a little bump. If they're able to win in Buffalo, they get
Right,
a little bump.
exactly. I would say yeah, probably around the 5.5, 6
Yeah.
range.
I could see it being that like 5, 5.5, sort of that dead range where it's not a key number.
Right, where you're just kind of unsure there. Yeah, I don't know what I would do there. I like the Bengals team, but going to Kansas City was not the easiest of tasks.
So it
What,
sounds
what do
like
you,
you think we're getting a Kansas City San Fran rematch.
yeah, that's what I would aim. Kansas City, San Fran would be my pick right now.
Who would you pick?
I'd probably take Kansas City.
I think so too. Just such an advantage at quarterback. It'd be a great Super Bowl. That'd
Right.
be a great Super Bowl. Can that would be a lot of fun.
What's your pick for the matchup?
I think it'll be Kansas City, San Fran.
Kansas City, San Fran.
Yeah. Wouldn't be shocked if it's Philly, wouldn't be shocked if it's Buffalo. Like I wouldn't be shocked if it's not, but I think Kansas City, San Fran.
I've got a ticket from earlier in the year. I took Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, and so I wouldn't be upset if it's Buffalo. But
What number did you get?
I don't even remember. It was like that beginning of the year
They were
FanDuel bet.
killing people too.
Yeah, bet a team, get your bet back, or for however many wins or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I just took Buffalo with that because I figured they'd get the wins to rack up anyway.
Yeah. It's it'll be interesting. It's a great weekend of football. Anything in the NBA you played?
NBA, yeah, I actually just put one in right now. Tatum's out for Boston against the Raptors, and Raptors have been getting smoked by big guys rebounds. Let me pull. Bobby Portis had 12, Plumlee had 15, Randall had 15, Okongwu with Atlanta had 13, and they have Time Lord rebounds over 8.5 -110. I took that all the way up to 14 at plus 650. So I like him in this spot. I think the Raptors probably win the game, but I think there's going to be a lot of available rebounds with no Tatum. Tatum's getting 8 to 10 a game, so it's going to free up a bunch of rebounds in that spot.
How about the
That's
Lakers
all.
beating the Grizzlies last night?
Gosh, everyone was on the jaw, 30 points and Memphis to win, and I don't know, man. That was a big win for the Lakers.
They played well. I think it's 10-9 the Lakers were without Anthony Davis, which hey, I would have lost a lot of money. If you told me 19 games without Davis, how many games they win? You said over under 9.5. I would have lost a lot of money.
3.
Yeah, man. They've I don't know how they've done it. I know
Westbrook has been playing.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing badly. He drives you nuts watching him because he just takes so many stupid shots and just like so many bad turnovers. But like his passing helps. He gives you. He's played better than he did last year.
For sure.
It still made no sense to trade for him and break up that team with, they had Pope and they gave up Kuzma. They gave up all those picks. Like they lost all their flexibility and they really ruined their chances going forward. But look, I mean, it's funny. The play-in is so crowded for the West. You get the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Thunder in the mix. The Kings,
Thunder are hot right now.
Thunder are going to be Thunder in a couple of years of Thunder are going to be really good. Maybe even sooner.
I mean, they don't even have their top pick in right now.
Right.
They don't have Chet playing.
Giddy's really good. SGA is a legit, I don't know, top 10 player, top 12 player. SGA is so good.
Top 10 probably for sure.
And you get Giddy, they're a smart organization and they have a million picks. Like you said, they have Chet coming back so they can make an all-in trade. I wish they had futures for like who's going to win a title in the next 3 years or 4 years or something. They're going to be really good soon.
They're going to be better than your Magic going forward?
Ooh. Yes, they will.
I'll tell you,
they have so many assets. They have so many picks.
Yeah, that's what
they're going to run into a situation where you can't make all the picks. You can only have like 15 guys on a roster. They got like 30 picks and a bunch of decent players.
Consolidate them into higher picks or players,
which hurts them because teams know other teams are going to have all the leverage. Like, hey, you need to make this pick. I'm not going to help you unless you overpay, which they're probably going to have to overpay just to unload and move up. Like, package 3 picks to move up 6 spots, something stupid like that.
The guy I like on Orlando is Franz. Man, he's good. He hit a full ladder for me last night up to 30 points. I mean, how good would he look on the Warriors right now
Yep.
if they would have taken him.
Absolutely.
He would have been a perfect fit for them.
Halliburton, Franz, they just they sort of punted away that pick.
Right. It'll definitely be an interesting second half of the season for the NBA for sure.
Absolutely. Pretty much does it. Anything else before we get out?
No, it should be a fun weekend of watching games. Hopefully we get something similar to last weekend would be good.
Or last year. Remember last year, the division
Oh,
weekend
last year
was
was
the
nuts.
crazy weekend,
Yeah.
Chiefs, Bills, and all those crazy games. But appreciate it, man. NicLarson. This was fun. This first and goal, Pickett Sports, Boom Fantasy. Check out everything they have to offer. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for listening. Nick, see you later, man.
See you, Will.